Hi guys, this is Gabriele from nannuoshan. In this video, food and tea pairing. We want to find out which is the best tea that pairs with a fresh summer breakfast. Today I am in Washington DC. It's early in the morning, the sun is rising and the sky is clear, is crystal clear. And according to the weather forecast, it will be a very sunny and warm day, so our perfect condition to start the day with a fresh breakfast, pairing it with some tea and get the day started. Today, together with me, there is Caroline. She's in the kitchen, still finishing to prepare the breakfast, and she will join me shortly. You're certainly all familiar with wine and food pairing. So for example, if you invite some friends for dinner, you wouldn't pair the same wine with fish, meat, or a dessert. But actually, we all know that tea has also a very bright and, let's say, range of flavors and aroma. So even more than wine, I would say. So why not pairing actually tea with your dishes? And in fact, in my opinion, there are at least 3 different methods to pair tea with food. You could select a tea that matches the taste of your food. So for example, if you take, for example, the earthy taste of beets, that pairs very well with the shu pu'er, with the ripe pu'er, that is also famous for his earthy taste. Another way of pairing your tea with food is to complement the taste of the food. So for example, if you prepare a very light and delicate white fish fillet, and you use just a very light sauce or even not sauce, just a little bit of oil, then you would like to complement this very light taste with, for example, huangjixian, which is a danzong oolong that is quite aromatic and crispy and brings this additional level of complexity to your simple fish dish. And a third way actually of pairing tea and food is to use the tea to go in contrast with the taste of the food. What does that mean? It's a bit tricky, it's different than complementing, and is actually one of the trickiest and more difficult way of pairing tea with food, but at the same time is also the most rewarding. Contrasting means that actually your tea has nothing to do with that food. But magically, when you put both in your mouth, it simply tastes perfect. They really goes well together, even if apparently they have nothing to do with each other. So for example, if you take a risotto with mushrooms, it does pair very well with Japanese sencha. But there is no really association, there are no analogies between a Japanese sencha and risotto with mushrooms, and even not one is complementary of each other, but they do pair very well together. All right, I think we are almost ready to get started. Caroline, how much time do you need?
Just a couple of minutes.
Okay, so we will back with you very shortly. So the breakfast is ready, and so is Caroline. Please come in. Oh, nice.
Hi.
So here we have the breakfast, and we have also some other stuff, right?
Here we go. So I also prepared
What do we
a
have?
bit of fruit and yogurt, and a bit of muesli just on top.
These actually, I know better what they are because I was this morning in a French bakery. So we have, this one is a macaron with coconut. This is a tart with apricots, and then we have a baguette. What did you put on top of that?
So one is peach jam, and this one is fruits from the forest.
Okay. And then we have a pan au chocolat, quite a lot of stuff, and we've been preparing the video for a while, so now we're really hungry and we want to get started. Which tea have you thought pairing it?
So I have thought about Huang Meigui. So it's something from nannuoshan. So it's a rock tea.
This is a we rock tea. Yeah, this is actually a very old package of us because Caroline has has got this tea, I would say maybe 3 years ago when we were writing everything by hand. But yes, Huang Meigui, it means yellow rose, and it is a rather floral rock tea, just gently roasted with there are also some fruity notes though. I remember that our tea taster Amanda was associating this tea also with roasted apples. And as far as I am concerned, I have another tea that I will show you later. It is a fresh white tea, Bai Mudan. And I have chosen that tea because, white tea is dried under the sun. So in the Chinese tradition, white tea is associated with sun, and it tastes like sun. So today it is a very sunny day. We are going to eat a summer breakfast, and so I thought, let's see how it pairs actually. Yeah. So we've put the tea in the lotus, and we want to show you the tea. Let me do some space here. This is the oolong, and this one is the white tea. It is a very fresh white tea, so it has still some grazy notes here. So now we're going to prepare the tea, and after that we are finally ready to have our breakfast. Okay. So the water is ready, and the tea is in the teapot and in the gaiwan, and we can start preparing the tea for you. So I will use this teapot here that Caroline brought last May when we were traveling. Where did you buy this? In
So
Ishin?
I bought this in Wuishan.
In Ishin?
Yes, in the shop.
Yes, we were there in Wuishan. There is a main road with a lot of tea shop and tea workshop, and I think it was one evening that we were walking around, and you bought this.
Yes, exactly.
Okay. So I told you a little bit why I decided to pair this white tea with this food. Yeah, it's more an association actually with the kind of breakfast that we have, and not very much with the taste itself. So if you want, with respect to the three criteria that I mentioned before, the matching, the complementing, and the contrasting, this I would say is more on the contrasting side. And because the white tea is quite delicate, it has some grassy note, maybe slightly floral, but actually has nothing to do with the fruity, fresh breakfast. While Caroline, actually, why did you choose your oolong?
I chose this oolong because I would say it has very fruity and florally note while still having a slight roast. So I think, yeah, it's a nice. I think it would fit quite well with the muesli, and I kind of feel like pairing the fruit from this yogurt and muesli with the fruity floral notes of this tea.
This is your cup. How do you like it?
It's nice. It's nice sometimes to have a contrast. So you have a very sweet muesli, and this feels like it's as if you would have had a few herbs, or it feels like a very summery tea. Yes.
The white one, right?
The white one. Yeah.
Let's see yours. Guys, it's more intense in the mouth. And it definitely has warmer tones in it, right, with respect to the white tea.
Yeah.
And is more floral or more fruity now?
I would say it's somewhere in between. I would still say it's a very floral one, but as it reminds of some kind of yellow flower, I feel it kind of really pairs very well with this type of fruit, so peach, mango, or.
But we should try the pan au chocolat with it, actually. Mm. What is interesting, when you have the chocolate in the mouth, this oolong is less aromatic, right? Like it's like the fruits and the freshness of the fruits enhance the aroma of the tea, but then when I have this battery, it's almost disappearing, right? It's kind of tea is adapting to the food. I mean, it sounds strange, but don't you really feel the same? That when you put them...
But then it's maybe a sign that it wouldn't be the best pairing if you cannot feel the tea.
Yeah, this one is a little bit covering. I'm curious about the other one. Do you have white tea?
I think this one also, it's because it's, I would say it's less sweet. So it kind of maybe also even helps cut the fat in a way because it's,
Yeah, I know what you mean. Get some more water. This is extremely slippery, especially if you have your hands full of butter. It doesn't help. Don't forget your tea. Steeping.
yeah.
It's I'm really surprised by how now if you try to eat again the fruit and then your tea, the taste come out again. Just try, because it's like the tea is exactly the same and it changes taste so much depending on what you have put in your mouth just before it. You feel it again?
No, it's very nice.
Huh?
Yeah.
I would like to try now the bread with choose one.
I can go for this one.
Okay, good, because I wanted to go for this one here. What do you say?
It matches pretty well, I would say. It feels very summery because the white tea really feels like you're in a nice field, in a nice grass field, and it's summertime. And then you have the berries as well with it.
And then with the apricot on top of apricot marmalade, you have that both tea pairs well. Like it doesn't, the taste of the oolong doesn't disappear. I think it was the butter in the pain au chocolat and maybe the chocolate even that made the taste of the tea disappearing. I mean, not the taste, just the aromatic part of it.
So for me, like with this one, I would say this would be not such a good pairing because you can really feel the berries a lot with this jam. So this kind of disappears like...
So, summing up, we have the yogurt with fruit. What was your opinion about that?
Actually, both are interesting. It depends what you're looking for. So if you want a tea really a bit more in contrast, the white tea would be a good option. But if you want something that feels warm, fruity, summery, I would say then the Huangjixiang is a good choice. But yeah, as you can see, depending on the items, the taste is so much different. So it's a good idea to drink several teas actually for breakfast.
So you have to pair not one tea for your breakfast, you have to pair one tea for each piece of meal that you have on your dish. Well, your table. Yeah, that's the point. I mean, certainly, I also believe that both teas pair well with the yogurt with fruits, and it's very simple to choose actually. If you want a warm taste that goes along with the fruit, then you go for the Huangjixiang. And if you want to enhance the freshness of the yogurt and fruits, then you would go for the white tea. That's quite straightforward. Then we say with the pain au chocolat, and maybe we can generalize and say also with croissant that have this buttery. We wouldn't go for an oolong because this oolong lose its aroma. The roasting, remains there, but it becomes quite flat because the tea wasn't roasted very much so that you can feel those aromatic and floral notes in the tea, and if those are cut off by the croissant, then you don't feel nothing at all, right? So with croissant and with pain au chocolat, this fresh white tea would definitely pairs better. And then we had, with the red jam, we say the white tea, right? Because again, the oolong was a bit disappearing, while with apricots, I would actually go for the oolong.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, yeah. Mm-hmm.
Then I'll go to grab a knife so that we can cut those, okay?
Mm-hmm.
We go. So this is the macaron with coconut. Is something typical in France?
Yes, yeah. I mean, you can find it in a lot of, even for Christmas in Germany and other countries in Switzerland.
Okay. Other? I will do another steeping as well. Okay. And now, what should we start with? Coconut or apricot?
You can start with the coconut, maybe. I'll just take maybe a small bite.
I really like this white tea.
So it really depends the direction you want to go. So the advantage of the coconut is that the way of this coconut rocher is that you can really influence the taste just with the tea. So I prefer this one because it becomes more tropical, like with tropical fruit. But you could also have this very, very nice white tea and have a totally different flavor profile. So
yeah, so you mean the coconut macarons are quite neutral?
Neutral, so you can really, the tea can really make the taste.
It's like having bread,
yeah,
and you decide which jam do you want to put on it. Yeah. And now we have the apricot tarts. That's sugary. Very sugary. Wow, back in the US.
And it's very buttery as well. So. But in this case, I think I would go maybe for the white tea, just because the flavor profile of this white tea manages to cut a bit the fat and bring something different rather than similar. But maybe it's just a personal choice of, in this case, having, especially sometimes when you have this heavy meals, very buttery, very oily, sometimes having a bit of lemon coming in just to cut the fat helps. And I think it's very similar with the tea. I would say just cuts the fat again. For
I think here you have a situation where it goes well with both, but for a different reason. You have the white one is contrasting the taste. Actually, the taste of this white tea has nothing to do with that apricot. Yeah, exactly. Really nothing to do. But it matches well. And the roasted oolong is a matching pairing. Yeah, you have this apricot that goes very well with the Huang. So all in all, I would say we could say that, at least I speak for me, if I have to choose one tea to pair the whole breakfast, I will go with the white one that pairs actually well with everything. The only thing that maybe I just would leave aside is the coconut, but was also okay with that. And for you, if you have to choose one?
Oh, difficult choice. I think I would still go for the Huang just because, it makes it really like, it's a very summery tea, it has this warmness.
Well, so as you see, it's also a matter of taste, right? It depends on your palate, on your mood, and there are some occasions where you really say it simply does not pair at all. And the pain au chocolat with the roasted oolong is an example. It just doesn't pair. But for the other, it really depends which direction you would like to go. Yeah.
Yep.
So you stay with your tea, I stay with mine, and we continue eating our breakfast. Thank you very much for watching. And if you have enjoyed watching this video, we would really appreciate a thumbs up. And if you haven't clicked on the subscribe button yet, please go ahead and do so, because the more subscribers we get, the more videos you will get. Enjoy your tea moment, and I'll see you next time. Bye-bye.